Yo guys, it is me, Nodder, and we're back with my draft analysis for UBC Season 6. We are back. We are ready. Right? We did really well last season, so we're going to do really well this time. And, well, the big challenge this time compared to last season is, well, I took over Greg's team week 5. So I didn't draft my own draft. It was a really good draft, but, I didn't pick it. So this time I have to think of my own draft and also do really well in the games. So that was a little difficult, but we'll see how I did with the drafting. And so here's me. I take the tryhard selfies. I'm not gonna lie, my selfies are pretty tryhard. And UBC is hosted by Adam. That's the wrong picture, but they both ruin everything. So all right, let's get on with the actual draft. So here's the pretty cool part. I was actually the first pick in the entire draft. So first pick, I could pick literally whatever I wanted that was available. So I was thinking, okay, I like Mega Kangaskhan, I like Kieran Black, I like Celesteela, but you can see the Kieran Black silhouette here, so you know that round 1, fuck, what the, man, technical difficulties. Round 1, I choose Kieran Black, and so I really wanted to try this thing out, and it's really, really good. I mean, that's obvious, right? Every time I prep for Kieran Black, I always get screwed over, just because of how difficult it is to prep for it. I chose it because I really like it as a really awesome wall breaker. It's really powerful, really fun to use as well. That's what I like to use. I like to use things in League that are good, that are just viable, but also really fun to use. And so obviously I made it my Z-Move user, because it's like an amazing Z-Move user. Why wouldn't you? With Freeze Shock, of course you'd want to use that as your Z-Move. So other things to note, it's obviously an amazing wall breaker, 170 attack, like that's no joke for sure. And it has such a great move pool. This thing has no definite switching, like nothing is guaranteed to switch in on this. Like if we're talking about like ladder, I mean I guess if you switch in Toxapex right on the Freeze Shock and then switch out, then its power is hindered. But like in League, you know it's coming, so you know how to prep. And so that's the thing, like it's just such a great wall breaker and it helps cripple the fat cores because of its immense power. I put down that it's an electric resist, which might be kind of random, because it does resist several other typings too, like grass. But the thing about it is that Kieran Black can really take on most electric types, bar like Aurasphere Raikou or something like that. Because, like, a lot of ground types, they have to worry about HP Ice, because most of the time a lot of times they'll have a 4 times weakness to it, or they won't have good Spadef to take HP Ice anyways. But Kieran Black, it doesn't have any times 4 weakness, so it can eat up that super effective hidden power and just dish out an earth power and just kill it, or even just like, some continue Freeze Shock if you want, or anything like that, to just kill off the electric type easily. And I also like how Kieran Black gets recovery too, so it can just continuously check the electric type during the game, not have to worry about keep taking damage, because I think of like in Matter, just ground types in general, I think only Hippowdon and Gliscor are like the notable ones that actually get recovery. Like things like Landorus, Garchomp, they take damage over time. And so it's kind of like that here in the same case, that Kieran Black can take those electric types on really well, but also has recovery. And that's really it. But also, if I want to run a Choice Scarfer, Kieran Black's a great Scarfer. It has a power, but I'd rather use other things for speed control, which you'll see shortly. So with Kieran Black, I thought, I got a lot of help from people, especially Greg. I talked to him a lot about my draft. And so I was thinking between Mega Lopunny and Mega Zam, but because they both, they provide the speed that Kieran Black misses out on, right? 95 speed, not the greatest. Lopunny got taken, so I chose Mega Alakazam. And so, Mega Alakazam it's a really fast Pokemon, which Kieran Black isn't, obviously, so it gives you that speed control. Mega Alakazam's more of a late game Pokemon, like it comes in late game and attacks with like the Steel types and the Dark types have been gone. And Kieran Black helps with that, like, of course Steel types resist both of its stabs, but it also gets Earth Power and Focus Blast to hit them super effectively. And so, Kieran Black is still, it's good to use with the Alakazam, despite both of them, like, struggling versus Steel types in theory. But, also, I really like a regular Alakazam. It's one of my favorite Pokemon to use in League. I've used it a lot, I'm pretty sure. And so this time I wanted to try out Mega Alakazam. I know it's just, like, pretty similar, but just more speed, more power. It's a pretty good late game sweeper potentially with the Calm Mind, and it also gets Substitute. You can like sub-Calm Mind, and potentially it has a ton of utility. Honestly, you can use Encore, Taunt. It even gets Recovery too, and Recover, which is pretty cool. Although I've never seen anyone use Recover Alakazam because of its frailty. Yeah, what else do I want to say about this? like strong special attacker that goes well with Kyurem. Honestly, that's really all I can say about this. I thought I'd have some more to say, but yeah. So with Kyurem Black, with Mega Alakazam, I have some great offense pair built here, right? And then I don't necessarily want to go to bulk straight away, but with Kyurem Black and Mega Alakazam, I do want to get some good resistances, like particularly fighting resist, because Alakazam, it resists fighting because psychic typing, but it's not going to be able to switch in on fighting types, right? And neither will Kyurem, obviously. So I really want to have that definite fighting resist, and so I also like to have like the bulky pivot kind of way to make it easy for these to potentially make doubles to bring in your frail offense to come in and get kills. And so basically, I got Tapu Fini. Tapu Fini is, in my opinion, a great addition to this team. For one thing, it provides a really good fire resist, which I would definitely need at some point, because you don't want to be vulnerable to fighting in League. It's just not a good thing, because things like Darmanitan will screw you over. But basically, also defog too. I really want that hazard control for Kyurem Black. Not every draft in League requires good hazard control, but in my opinion, when one of your most crucial Pokemon is weak to rocks, I think you're going to want to have multiple defoggers, multiple rapid spinners. And so that's another reason why I chose Tapu Fini. Another reason is because of its, well, bulk, obviously, I mentioned, like, I want something bulky. Water Fairy type is really good typing for so far, because then it gives me that Dragon immunity. Of course, the Misty Terrain does weaken Dragon type attacks, which may suck for Kyurem, but my logic is that since the Ice moves are also super effective against Dragon types, I don't really think Dragon Stab is that necessary. Of course, Outrage will be hindered, which kind of sucks, but I don't need to bring Tapu Fini every week, that's the thing, too. But I probably will, to be honest. It's such a great Pokemon to have. A great fighting resist, great fire resist. It has some good utility even outside of defog. It has taunt. You can even use it for Calm Mind potentially, which would be interesting. I might use it for that. But also the fact that, here's the big part. I love how Misty Terrain prevents things from being burnt by Will-O-Wisp, or just burnt in general. So Kyurem Black can come in on a water type without having to worry about getting Scald Burnt if Misty Terrain is up. So then, if I want to bring it in and use Fusion Ball, I don't have to worry about it, okay, will it get burnt on the switch, because, you know, Misty Terrain's up. That's why I think Tapu Fini is a really good bulky mod to support what I have so far for my draft. One thing that you'll see so far is I have 3 Pokemon that, not necessarily vulnerable to ground, like they're not weak against it, but they don't resist it either. I mean, Tapu Fini and Kyurem Black give fire out super effective moves, but they don't resist it. So that's one thing here. I will say, I don't want to spoil the draft, but I will say I'm going to be a bit vulnerable to ground, to be honest. Not that I don't have any answers. I will. You'll see. But yeah, let's move on to the next Pokemon. You know, we got Lejon, we got Crocodile. I'm so glad I was able to get this. I'll tell you now, I only got sniped once with Rotom Wash. I was actually going to get Rotom Wash over Fini, but I realized that, well, I mean, since it was gone, I thought Tapu Fini would be the next great thing. And so, when you don't get sniped at all, or when you only get sniped like once, I personally feel like it's a bad sign, because it means like no one wants their Pokemon. But I feel like this draft turned out pretty cool, especially with Lejon here. So Crocodile I drafted, because that ground dark type is so critical for this team, right? So far, I struggle a bit. I struggle versus ghost types for sure. Like before this, I had no ghost resist, right? Electric types would have maybe been a bitch, but you know, Kyurem Black's a great electric resist. But now this gives me electric immunity, so Volt Switch won't like really be as big of a concern. And so it's really cool because Kyurem Black will help me out in dealing with those bulky psychics that can often take hits from Kyurem Black. And give me a Stealth Rocker for sure. I need that for sure. 4 rounds, and finally I have a Stealth Rocker. So Kyurem Black's a great Stealth Rocker for sure. It's just really good offensive typing. Ground Dark, that's really good offensively. And it's Speed Tier. That's one of the things I want to make sure this time. When I draft, I often like have clumsy speed tiers. Like I'll have one really fast Pokemon and like one also pretty fast Pokemon, then it just drops. Right? This time I want to keep it pretty well. So far I have 95, 150, 85, and now 92 with Crocodile. So I want to make sure that I want to try to fill in that gap better later on too. That was one of my concerns when drafting. So Crocodile gives me, you know, just this, what's been already mentioned, you know, Ground Dark typing, Ground Stab. The resistances, the immunities here are going to be really useful. Psychic and Electric immunities are just going to be so good here. Sure, I'll have to watch out for Focus Blast and Dazzling Gleam, but just by being able to pursuit trap him in some situations, or even giving him the berry to resist those super effective moves will be really helpful for Alakazam, Mega Alakazam and Kyurem Black to like help win games. And even then, remember how I mentioned that I want to have more speed control too? Kyurem Black's a potential Scarfer. It's good with Moxie to use, and so I feel like that's also a good thing, like your backup plan. Like if I really need a choice Scarfer, I can potentially use Lejon. But yeah, let's go on with the rest of the draft. So round 5 we have Metagross. I was so happy I got this pick as well. Metagross, I've never used it before in League, but I really want to try it. Because I always use Bronzong, and Bronzong's like, I mean, it's pretty obvious Bronzong's a crappy version of Metagross. I like how it has Levitate, but after a while I was like, nah, this thing's too passive. I need to go with the Metagross. Metagross, again, gives you another Stealth Rocker, which is important. So I think I have two really good Stealth Rockers, especially Metagross. So, and I think Krookodile is a really good Stealth Rocker too, so I'm really happy with that. How I have good Stealth Rockers. And so, Metagross gives you that great Steel type. I think it's a really good Steel type too. It has the ability to hit things hard that it's supposed to check, whereas with Bronzong, it resists a lot of things but can't necessarily hit them back hard for much damage. Excuse me. So, as you can see, I put down some of the resistances because these are like the main ones that I drafted Metagross for. It's good to have an Ice Resist that also resists Freeze Dry. Fairy Resist, I don't have that yet, and I could use a Fairy Resist. Psychic Resist, I have some, but, you know, always more to add, you know, especially for things like Latios and Latios, I really gotta have Metagross for it. And Grass Resist, well, yeah, I have Kyurem Black, but still, it's better to have more. And so, Metagross itself is, the Assault Vest set, I feel is gonna help a lot in a lot of situations. Just because it has a great offensive move pool too. It also gives me priority with Bullet Punch. That's another thing worth noting. I didn't have priority before this. It also works late game with agility too, potentially. I have a lot of late game potential with this draft, which I'm really happy with. And yeah, so that's basically most of it. The reason that's why I drafted Metagross. It really helps support the team by giving me that essential Fairy Resist, and just by being great offensively as well as defensively. And so next up we have Mienshao. Mienshao is probably like, I'm really glad I got this because again this helps with that speed tier problem, where now I have something at 105. So 150 to 105 is still a pretty big drop, don't get me wrong, but you'll see I'll try to fix that later on as well. Now the main reason why I drafted Mienshao is because I really started to get some fun, to get some pivoting. Just to be able to U-turn out on something and then bring in Kyurem Black to get a kill. I feel like that's going to be essential in my games later on. Yeah, so we got Mienshao here, and notable sets to use. Mienshao doesn't really need much variety in the sets it uses. It just really needs the power in the moveset, like the moves specifically. But you know, strategy-wise, you can use the Choice Band for just ultimate wall breaking with the reckless high jump kick. That's just good. That stuff's gonna hit so hard. And then for you know, psychics, you can run a knockoff, and then for poison type, for fairy types, you can run poison jab. Versus poison types, you're just gonna be U-turn out. Mienshao doesn't get a ground move. I believe he gets Zen Headbutt. No, I won't check. Sorry. About that, the fighting stab is going to be really useful, because, especially versus bulky normal types like Snorlax, I feel like I'm definitely going to want to have some sort of fighting stab for that, obviously. Setup, potentially, I don't really think Mienshao's going to be, I don't really think I'm going to be using Mienshao for setup, because of how it's too frail to use. So basically, I'm going to use this as an attacker, and as a pivot. So, basically, speed control with a pivot, or hitting hard with a pivot. Just to be able to bring in Mega Alakazam or Kyurem Black to just decimate things inside. Especially, I really think that with U-turn, you can U-turn out on bulky Psychics, or bulky Ghosts, and just bring in Kyurem Black to threaten them pretty easily. That's another cool thing. That's why I like the Mienshao Krookodile potential here. Later on, moving on, we got Soul Volley. I was so happy I was able to get this, because at first, at this point, as you can tell, I don't have a ground resist at all. I have nothing that can switch into ground. And I'm like, well, crap. And I look at the Soul Volley, and I was thinking about getting Soul Volley flying, but then I realized, I talked to Adam, you can get any Soul Volley typing for just drafting Soul Volley. I was like, holy crap. So I do have a ground immunity now, or even a ground resist if I want to use Soul Volley Grass, which, you know, I won't. But it's so cool how. So basically, I plan on using this mostly as Soul Volley flying, But I mean, I'll use it for whatever typing that's best for the game. But I meant to draft it for Silvally Flying, just because of that grounding. Silvally gets a lot of good utilities, particularly Parting Shot and Defog. I guess Thunderwave too, but it's mostly Parting Shot and Defog. Those are just so essential. Makes pivoting out really easy. You can use any typing, so that means any stab you want, really. You can use it as an attacker in any way, but I will mostly use this as like a bulky pivot, for sure, just to add more bulk to the team. Yeah, so I'm really happy I'm able to get Silvally, because this essentially helps with any matchup issue, because you can just choose whatever typing you want. So you're weak to, let's say 1 week I'm weak to Psychic, so I can bring Silvally Dark or Ghost, or Bug, but I'm not going to bring Bug, but you get the idea. I can just use any Silvally to help fix up any matchup issues. So that's why I'm really glad I was able to get Silvally. Speed tier wise, we're at 95, so not much, not very significant because we already have Kieran Black, but again, this thing's mostly draft for its bulk and utility, which I think it'll help the team out a lot. Up next, we got Ronamo. Now, Ronamo, I'm really happy I was able to get this as well. I know I'm saying this a lot, but at this point, any snipe at this point would have been critical. I would have had to, like, change my entire late game draft plan, which would have been awful, turned into something awful. But Ronamo gives me that solid electric grass typing with Levitate. So here, I have another ground immunity. So the ground issue is diminishing a bit. It's still, I think, going to be quite an issue, but yeah, whatever. We'll get to that at the end. Ronamo itself gives me that great water type check, because sure I have Kieran Black, but now I have one more, too, with super effective stab moves, unlike Kieran Black, versus water types. And it gives me a Defogger as well. I didn't mention that in the rules, but it does. So I have 3 Defoggers now, which I think is good enough. Like, especially to help supporting Kieran Black. I feel like that's good, for sure. And, yeah, not much to say about Rotom. Its move pool isn't really that deep, but it does get Trick if you want to run a Choice Scarf. And as a Choice Scarf, I feel like it's really good because it can outspeed most things with a Choice Scarf and just be able to Volt Switch out on things. So particularly versus bulky grass types, I can Volt Switch out of them with Rotom, and then bring in Kieran Black to just decimate something with a Z free shock if I want to, which I think is really cool. And, yeah, other than that, to be honest, Rotom's options are pretty limited, but they're really good for this draft in my opinion. That's why I drafted it. Despite it not being able to do that much, it's good at what it can do, which I feel like is really essential. And so, moving on, we got round 9, Audino. This might seem a little weird, but that I drafted this thing. It's only like 4 points, it kind of sucks. But the cool thing about this is, for the Wish Pass on, obviously, if you haven't noticed, none of my, defensive Pokemon before have good recovery. The closest one is Rotom with Pain Split, but even then, that's not that good. Tapu Fini and Metagross and Silvally, none of them have recovery. So this Wish support is going to be essential to keeping them alive, if I want to. This draft is going to be more, like, associated towards offense, but for defense it's also going to be enhanced with the help of Audino, with the Wish support and the Cleric. I also like how it gets Heal Bell too. I don't think Heal Bell is going to be that necessary because of Misty Terrain, but you don't know. In some cases it might be helpful. And generally I drafted this thing because it works really well as a sponge. It just eats up a lot of non-super effective hits. I mean, definitely some non-stab hits, but like non-super effective hits, it just takes pretty well overall, especially on the special side. I really realized I don't really have many good, especially defensive walls, so I just feel like having Audino really helps out that issue. And so, yeah, that's basically why I drafted it. Its fighting weakness is no concern for me, especially having such a good fighting resistance in Tapu Fini, along with several others, like Silvally Flying, if I want to. Like I said, any Silvally that I choose. And so, let's go. There's only 2 more picks left. Now we have Salazzle. I'm really glad I was able to get this as well. Salazzle really helps out with that speed tier issue that I had, going from 150 down to 105. Now I go down to 150 to 116. It was still a big drop, but at that point, 150 is already so high up. I don't really think that's a big concern. Salazzle itself, in my opinion, I actually think this thing has potential in League format, because on ladder, definitely not. When you have things like Toxapex and Heatran to like limit its nasty plot potential, I really feel like it can do really well in the League format, where if you know what it's coming, you can potentially bring like something that can hit super hard Salazzle's head that just hits really hard, because Poison Fire Stab. Typing. No single typing resists that, I'm pretty sure. Let's think. I'm just gonna go ahead and say no. I hope I'm right. But, you know, obviously there are dual typings that resist that, like Heatran, for example, with Flash Fire, and Toxapex, which I've already mentioned. But just a lot of offensive Pokemon struggle versus that typing. So what I'm saying is just like, Salazzle can help versus opposing offensive teams, where you can, if you put them in a position where they have to sack off something every time, you can really help. That can really help you win, especially with Salazzle's naturally high speed. Its move pool is really limited too, so outside of stab moves, I know it gets Dragon Pulse and Knockoff and Hidden Power. I feel like Hidden Power Ground will be really useful versus things like Heatran, but just besides that, it's also a really good Fairy Resist too, to help out. I don't think Fairies are going to be a big concern, especially with Metagross, Salazzle, and possibly Silvally, Steel or whatever, Fire, or Poison. But yeah, anyways, I think Salazzle, despite, again, being limited, I feel like it's good at what it can do, and it'll help out the team really well. Last but not least, we have Mantike, which is really weird. This thing is just a 1-point pick that I've left. Now I was really looking through this list, so I was like, damn, what do I get? Mantike, I realized Water Flying is actually pretty good typing, and so with the utility that Mantike gets, I thought, oh, okay, this is going to be not as good, but it could still be useful potentially as a defogger. But then I check its move pool after I draft it. It doesn't even get defogger roost, so I'm like, yeah, fuck it, why did I draft this thing? And so I was a bit upset. A waste of a pick. Awful way to end the draft. But I hope you guys enjoyed what I've chosen for this draft. And let me know what you think about it. Do you think it's good? Do you think it's like awful? Particularly, like Fauza, I noticed it's probably my biggest concern is probably like the ground issue. More Stealth Rockers would have been nice to have. I only have 2, but I really like the Stealth Rockers I do have. But overall, I do think my friends think it's a really good draft, so I'm happy with how I drafted. Could it have been better? I mean, sure, but, you know, no draft is perfect. I like how I tried to fix my issues as I went along, instead of waiting till the end to fix them. But, you know, because, like, at this point, I was just able to comfortably draft Mantike like it was nothing, because of how confident I was in the rest of my draft. I hope you all enjoyed this, and games will be coming soon. A game will be coming today, because it's due. Alright, see you guys later. Bye.